30-second overview. You can select any database out of this section. There are 22,000 different databases, and I will drop a link in here. You are able to combine these together, and when you combine them together, you create what we call a brick. A brick is one of these fellas right here, and for $4.99, you get to build one of these bricks for yourself. So one of these bricks for health insurance, for instance, if we go look up the health insurance keyword, the user who paid for that brick provided us any combination of these specific insurance keywords. I don't remember exactly what they did, but they would have had the option to say, Brian, can you get a database of people looking for Medicaid or Medicare? And can you also put together within the same database people looking for State Farm? And additionally, can you put in people looking for United Healthcare? All three of those combined makes one unique brick for that particular user, and you are able to customize however you want this to be put together. So step one, you would log in, create an account, and when you log in, you would go over to custom databases. This is where you'll find the database we made just for you, and you would be able to navigate around. So I'm going to go do the newer one I just did, which is PPO. So within this database here, I want to make sure that I'm only targeting people in the state of Florida because that's where the user's licensed. And I also want to make sure that I'm targeting people who are between the ages of 45 and 54 because they're paying for more expensive health insurance. And what I have found is, we'll flip them to married. So now when we find a list, we have 2,492 people in Florida that are married and that are between the ages of 45, 54 that were looking at websites that sell this service. So they are in this database because they were looking for a service that offered that particular plan that we see on this brick right here. The way that we determine interest, quote unquote, or intent is through this ID right here. So let's forget all the words intent, interest, verified, all those markety, gimmicky words that, have complicated the industry to a high degree. The real reason why these are considered intent or interest or in the market leads is because this ID was on various websites. For instance, this ID may have been on the United Healthcare website. And the way that this database was built is people who are looking for services, medical, dental, vision, wellness, plans for comprehensive coverage, network of healthcare providers or providers. So you can go through all these, there's 22,000 of them, and really narrow in, like for instance, health savings account. So people who are actually looking for ways to save on healthcare costs, tax advantages, future medical needs. So any of these can be combined and customized just for you. When you actually find the list you want, so we found the 2,492 right here, we can go off at buy save list and we can select the quantity we want. So I'm going to go select 1,000 and I'll name it Florida Insurance, married, 45 to 50. So you'll see that you can select the limit. I put 1,000. Everyone's limit's a little different. This one's 1,500. The standard size is 1,000, but you can download unlimited. You can go off, for instance, and hit buy list. And then you could go off once again. We'll name this list 2. We'll put another 1,000 in. I'll put 1,500 actually. I want to show some math how this works. And then you have the ability to have it automate, sending it to you daily, weekly, monthly, however you would like to do that. And it instantly gets emailed to you. And also we'll see the leads that were saved are within these 2 sections here. So you'll see we typed 1,000, it went down to $9.99. That is because it found 2 of the shade 256 in the same file. So in other words, it removed the same thing with the PPO interest right above. I typed in the number 1,500 and it automatically defaulted it back down to the actual amount. Now, anything that you buy, you can always reaccess. We're basically a cloud storage where anything you buy, we save it for you forever. So if you realize you want to go back to May 21st, you can click the email button and then select which actual columns you want to have resent to you. And everything that we just showed you is $4.99 a month. It is unlimited. You're able to download as many credits and leads as you want. unlimited meaning this goes back up to 10 million every day.
So my question here, I know for the 499 level, there's one database. Now I'm looking for, of course, I'm interested in the intent leads, but I have different categories of intents. So does that database mean all the intent data leads are going to get merged into that one database? And am I able to differentiate the different intents that I'm looking for like a specific lead?
So correct. It all gets merged into one, but you are not able to identify the words from a lead. So for instance, health insurance, May 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Once you put it together, we don't even know because it just merges everything together into one set. What, are you doing like totally different industries?
I mean, that's some of the benefit of like having plans.
So right, because I have different it's a different script because it's a different product that I'm aiming for. So some people, for example, life insurance, while another one is corporate retirement plan. So the script is going to be different. The attribute of the lead is going to be different, but the intent part is the most important. Is there a way to kind of divide that up in the same database, or just one database, one set of intent keywords?
So you just mentioned a few good ones. So you said corporate wealth management was one.
Corporate retirement plans.
Retirement plans. So just with retirement plans, these are all the categories that come up. So you would have the ability for retirement plans to basically be like, all right, people looking for LinkedIn Financial Group, MetLife, wealth management services. It really gets very specific. Just with that keyword, there's 180 different segments. So you would be able to put together like, hey, I want a database only of Merrill Lynch. That's totally optional. But if you then say I want to pay for a second database of people looking just for Pacific Life, I would say that's kind of dumb because it's going to overlap Pacific Life and Merrill Lynch very similar. So that's when I would say save some money. Don't buy two separate groups.
What I tell people, what I always recommend people is start with the one that makes you the most money. We have a client who deals in a few different categories, but like their most profitable category is debt settlement. So that's where we're starting with them. So for you've got two very unique offerings. So what I would do is I would figure out which one of those two is going to be, I don't know if it's by margin or close rate, or you'll have to look within your sort of industry and your knowledge of say which one of these is going to be easier for me to build traction and momentum, because then it becomes infinite. Obviously, cash flow solves the issue of going from a $499 to like a $899 package where you've got multiple categories, or even like the $1199, which is like a real good value where you can really have 3 different databases. They don't all have to be the same. Then you're talking about when you log in, and the other part, like in my account, I track cannabis and I track cryptocurrency and I track blockchain and Web3. But to me, all of those are very, very different. And so they can't be all in one database. So that has to be the $11.99 plan where I'm tracking 3 very unique categories and segments. And now I have access to all 3 of those bricks when I log into my account. So that's kind of how I look at it, though. I always say start with the one where you're going to earn the fastest, and then all this other conversation about how you add additional categories becomes really a non-starter. It's very easy. You go from $4.99 to $8.99 or to the $11.99, and you add the other databases in the other bricks.
That makes sense. And then we can start from scratch the next month, because let's say we're trying one category that may not be working the way we want it to. Would we be able to switch to a completely different set of keywords the next month?
Yes. So every month you never lose access to what you purchased previously. So let's say you want to do roofing in April, you would have the ability to do roofing. For instance, maybe this was March, and then in April you say, hey, I don't want to do roofing, I want to do plumbing. You would have the ability to tell us that, and we would do the same process again, put together these specific words that are inside of what we just went over through here, and then build you a whole new database. You don't lose access to it. And one other thing that you can do with it is everything that you save or that you buy from us, you never lose. And that's where the whole white label comes in, where it's included at no additional cost, where you can set up your own website through us. It's a website builder, so it's not hard to do. If you want it to be a little more fancy, you can always go off and do that. and you're able to resell your databases to your own users. So for instance, we'll take a look at our favorite gutter leads, and the databases this user buys, he resells, he gets unlimited. My screen is not shared, I don't think.
Yeah, you're still in you're
Yeah.
still on the dashboard.
Yeah. So he spends
There you
$500 a month and he gets unlimited. He gets 1,000 per minute. So he has a very profitable way of maximizing what it is that he gets on the $4.99 plan. So the whole concept behind this is make some money. If you're making $1,000 and spending 500 with us, we're doing our job and making sure that the economic viability is being passed. Now, the other thing I wanted to jump into quickly is the enrichment. So anything there's a difference between the two plans. The main, other than the two databases, the second plan right here at $8.99 gives you unlimited data enrichment. So
Hassan, sorry, wait, Hassan. Yeah, the white label is, I mean, any vertical, whatever you're doing, you could set up as many as you want. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, like how Go High Level is, and logically, you could. That's the concept that people want their own agencies. You can be managing it. They can pay you, and you can help them be their chief data officer. Because no matter how much this looks sexy as hell to me, and some other people probably think so, this is probably one of the ugliest things to some other people in this, because this is not something fun to do for them. They hate it. I like it, but that's kind of where the idea of a Go High Level had, where you need plumbers and roofers that need to make money doing those jobs. They want nothing to do with Go High Level, so they paid someone to set up their own Go High Level and basically be that Go High Level manager for them. So now imagine you go to a company, they have 20 employees, you set their white label up. Now you are basically the back end manager of their data and their users. So you're relieving a very big pain point for a lot of people.
White label's included with any plan.
Yeah, the white label is totally included. Doesn't cost anything extra. The only thing that might be a little hurdle for a lot of people, it takes a little bit of time, setting up a merchant account with Authorize. If you have Stripe, you can do it pretty quickly.
We have some people that are here to help with that and help facilitate that. And they're really good. They're really, I mean, they're very clear about what the requirements are and what they need.
Yeah, and then when you set up your own white label, you're able to pre-build lists. So if you don't want to keep looking up people who are homeowners married with children in the water filtration database, you can pre-segment it. And in the next couple of days, you'll be able to send this list with an invoice. So if someone wants to buy this list just from you, you will be able to send this with an invoice. And now users don't have to subscribe to a plan, but they can do one-off purchases. So next week, we'll probably be able to show how that works in full. Was a little delayed, but finally got that going on. And
Did you see Brandon in the chat, Brian?
no,
Week 3 MCA list. He dropped his email address. Can you add him?
Yeah, so here's a good okay, so week 3 we're waiting on Drew for. But yeah, so if you
All
see
right, yeah.
how you get the updates, May 1st, week 1, May 2025, week 2.
All right, so yeah, so as soon as we have that, well, it's been very helpful and very awesome. It's going to be a lot of clippable material.
Very, very, very quick. And that's why I like doing this. That's why I made a joke in the very beginning. How can I explain it a bit better every time in a little bit shorter way? And got it to a really good question that summed a lot up.
Exactly. All right, so before I cut you off there, sorry, you were just getting into enrichment, which I think is very important. So I'll fall back, shut up, and yeah, awesome. Let's get into enrichment.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fun ways I've been using the enrichment. Now, I say fun because enrichment is okay, finding phone numbers. That's one angle of enrichment. But what happens when I want to find someone who was looking for roofing work in April, but also looking for roofing work in, we will say, May? So I'm going to go select this list of 5,000. We'll see if it accepts it or does it get stuck. So we'll let that run. And I'm going to go take a look at what other databases we have. Like we have roofing 2025, week 2. Texas are some of the newer ones we're going to use. This one right here, roofing 2025. Yeah. So this database right here is the newest one. So we just saved our 2,500 roofing leads. So obviously you can match this stuff to try to get a phone number, an email address. But what I want to show you guys is how to pick up the phone and call less people. And one way of doing that is find people who were looking for the same thing in April and in February. So this is prior month in April. What I'm going to do is find people who are looking for roofing in April, but also looking for roofing in May additionally. So on the $8.99 plan, you get this internal enrichment button. It's unlimited. It's just tied to the 1,000 per minute that you originally got stuck with. And let's see, May. There it is. So we have our roofing May 2025 database. And let's say you're staying month to month to month. You start building a collection of people's tracking basics. You're becoming your own mini Google, your own little mini information center. So now that I selected the other database, it now loads the data that was saved on the first April one. And any of these values you can enrich to. And enriching just means matching perfectly. So this is a unique number. This is the number we see when we determine you might have interest because this is the number that was on a website. So the best way that is to match it is just matching that number to any numbers that are in the May spreadsheet. And if they match, that means that the individual was looking for something in roofing in April and in May. So we click enrich and it found data. So now this is the enrichment part. And this is where I mean, okay, phone numbers, email, whatever you want to call it. You can now select what you want to combine. So month to month, I might go off and try to combine the phone numbers because if it changed, I want to know. Because remember, we're only looking at the Shade 256 because that doesn't change. But in May to April, they could have changed addresses. Probably not, but it's definitely possible. Maybe they bought a home in between. Maybe they got married in between. Maybe you want to see if their income went up or down, net worth went up or down. You get the idea. You have a infinite way of really messing with this to figure out what you're looking for. So then after you click apply join, this is what the new spreadsheet will look like. And then when you hit save list, we'll name it roofing May 2. So this process, give or take, takes some time, no time. We'll see. Is it ready already? It's in pending. So we'll wait on that for a few minutes. Oh, it's already done. So while we are waiting for that to deliver, and I can show you guys, I'll just jump into how the plans work on this. So this is $8.99 monthly. You get the 2 different databases and you get unlimited enrichment. And normally it is $6,420 a year. Right now, anyone in here, it will be $4,200 for the year. So that would give you 24 exclusive databases from here over 12 months. And that would also give you the flexibility for the unlimited enrichment. So if anyone's interested in that.
Also, I'll jump in here for a second. I see Andy's got a question. How much for unlimited everything? Look, we have an API program that's getting ready to come online. If you're interested in the API access, it starts at 10,000 and scales there. There's actually, I think, 6 APIs in total. So
there's like 150. I'll pop it over.
Oh, well, I thought there was anyway, there will be a very clear package and offering in the coming, I would say, week and a half. Don't hesitate to set up some time, and I'd be happy to jump in there and talk through with you sort of what you're looking for. A lot of people think they want or need the world when really what it is that they need is a custom plan. Let's talk through what your actual needs are.
Yeah, a lot's been falling in place very fast. The biggest thing that is research for us is bandwidth. Like unlimited is unlimited, for instance, unlimited, but this is the limit, 1,000 a minute, because anything, there's a limit with computing. If you go past that limit, you time out and you get a blue screen of death and everyone has a bad time. So that's why I've been a little bit slow with figuring out the API stuff, but yeah, it's definitely an enterprise type of arrangement.
Yeah.
Because we have to set it up on your own server stack. We're basically setting up we're moving you off our system basically, and we're just managing a big enterprise IT system for you. So that way, if you crash your system, we're going to sell you numbers. We're going to say, okay, we'll advise you. You want to not spend more money? Well, maybe you can allocate users at this time frame because the system allows you to throttle the rates. Mm-hmm. So if you have users that want to be accessed 24/7 a day, you can charge them more. If you have a user that wants to save some money, you can give them access between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're really, really, really making this a tool that, is very flexible and easy to deploy.
And much like everything else in our ecosystem, it's like our price is our price for what it costs you. And then how many times you go and resell it and throttle it down is, we don't care. We hope you're making an enormous profit. Because again, if we're helping you make money, then we're doing our job. So I noticed Michael Alexander has a hand up. Did you have a question?
I have multiple businesses and they're kind of very different. So I was wondering, I would need is there a category for like pet owners? Is there any kind of language? If I would need the list, for instance, for them to speak Spanish only, and I also have a cybersecurity business trying to deal with government agencies. Are those kind of categories that I could customize with the
Yes.
database?
So you have to think about it a little differently. Like, all right, are they a pet owner? Do we have a category that says I own a pet? No. But we have categories that say where they're looking at pet medicine, pet medicine April, people look, that's someone pays us for pet medicine specifically. So, but that was their indicator. They own a pet. They're looking for pet medicine. And, if someone's looking for pet medicine for a dog or a cat 3 years ago, it's very likely they still have that dog or cat, so that's why the whole history gets very interesting, because you basically get to, like, theoretically, if these were all your databases, you can enrich these all together and figure out everything a particular person was looking at. So let's say they fall into all these databases, you would be able to pinpoint as time goes on who's in what. So basically, I know someone asked before, can you identify who's in a specific database once you make the first database? No. But in theory, as you build your ecosystem, you're doing that actually. And now, why is it a health insurance database? Because you built it. And now when people come to you and ask you for that data, it's not a, hey, what is it? It's a, oh, why is it good numbers? I don't know. You put the logic together. And that's the best way, in my opinion, to work in the data, to work with people who use it, because it's complicated. It's impossible to get good at this if you have not actually used it to some degree yourself and experimented with a lot of this. Like, someone asked me for comic book convention, not because they were gonna do anything, but if they ever wanted to go to what's it called? Whatever those festival things are, Comic-Con once a year. This is basically a mailing list for 3 years from now. It's a forever mailing list. And this is a personality trait that's not going to change.
That's it. What about the language speaking filter? Is that possible?
Yeah, there is a language filter. There's a few ways there's multiple ways actually. And I've been, after doing this specifically when we had this program up for the last 8 months, I found there is a very clever way to do this. So I had a gentleman who is in India who works on education visa programs with Indians in America, was like, how can I find all the Indians? And there is a language section, but that's not entirely helpful, because if you were born in America and your parents were from India, you're not going to have Hindi as your main language, but family is still connected to the country. So I found that the user actually was doing, and it was working well, was the last name. I don't think I saved it, but he was doing it by last name. So like, all right, Patel. Like, it definitely is, direct targeting and profiling, but statistically, you're gonna have people who are from India with the last name Patel. So that's what he was doing, just to think outside the box. So Spanish is a little different because you might have 6th generation Spanish, but that's when I would go off and you have the ethnicity or the language code. So E1, that's Spanish. There's 10 million. No, E1's English. Does anyone know what Spanish is? I don't remember. I have it. But you get the idea. Oh, here you go. Spanish people.
So funny. This goes to your earlier point of, like, the more you use this system, the more you learn how to be creative in your, I like to call it audience engineering, and sort of query and filter engineering. And I mean, it's so much to the point of what Brian said at the beginning of, like, the more time you spend in here, the more all of this stuff, you come up with ideas. Oh, what if I try it this way? And that, like, we do this all the time. It's super fun.
Yeah, and you're more so turning into an architect, right? You know where it's located and you know the shortcuts of how to get there, because there's just so much information that, they're paying you on your white label, not for the data. I have said it for 4 years, data is worth nothing, because if someone doesn't know what to do with it or has the programs or computing to actually manage it, it is absolutely worthless. So basically that's where you come in, where, how do I use this data? Well, that's why there's hundreds of white labels, because all of them do something different. Like, the whole concept originally was, what's wrong with Seamless AI? What's wrong with Apollo? All these companies.
This is what I say all the time to people when they want to know what we do as a platform. Listen, everybody has all this data. our white label users help their clients get the right data at the right time when it actually matters. And that's our entire goal, man. That's what we do.
Oh, I didn't even know Seamless AI charges you for data enrichment, buyer intent data. Like we're the raw material. We don't buy data from anyone. I mean, I was building these advanced scraping things going through Google web crawlers that just took input and output for 5 years. So we built all this stuff up, you know, and the reason why people were leaving these companies to come to us over the years was because we don't fit the pattern of how they collect their data.
And then they all overcharge you.
Well, yeah, that's without a doubt. You just have to be a little bit better because all these companies have valuations of $1 billion to $2 billion, and it's going to be very easy for you to damage that because you're not funded by venture capitalists, just like we are.
Here's the part where I get to really, really talk about Brian. Brian, more than anything, is a fair guy. He's not a greedy guy. I've worked with and for a lot of founders and a lot of entrepreneurs, and it is almost always revenue driven rather than functionality driven. And Brian has been very refreshing because all of this is here now because Brian was willing to put his money where his mouth was and build it all himself and prove all of this stuff out. And so the platform and the white label and being able to make data products, being able to sell you a data product for $500 that you could sell to 20 people for $500 and not scale how much he takes out of your pocket based on how much you're willing to go out and earn. Like, you don't have to work for him as a platform like some of the other platforms that are out there where they really secretly turn you into an uncompensated employee more than provide you with the foundational tools that you need to go out and build yourself a anonymity and your own sovereignty and your own revenue. And I think that it's one of the things that I really, really love and respect about working with Brian is that that's just who the guy is at his core.
Gotcha. How would you go about trying to find government potential leads?
So that would be its own intent category, probably. Like that's very, very niche. That's different than a lot of, I mean, what would it be? SAM.org maybe? There's SAM.gov.
I think it'd be SAM.gov, but what was the question? What are you looking for?
So I'm trying to sell cyber electronic security to government agencies.
I have an idea. Business professionals, because there's a category, an industry called government. Like industry called government. And then let's go put their seniority level at, CXO. I think that we can work with that. So there's 46,000 people work in the industry government. So now let's take a look. Government administration. Oh, yeah. I mean, just like that, there's 40,000 people who department in government. You got the Community and Social Services Commissioner, Chief of Police. This might be the best shot.
Yeah, there's your IT guy right there. I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Nope.
So then we can go up to department, type in tech to see what we narrow it down to. 3,000.
Networking or something like that.
So now we're in 3,000.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Transportation.
Yeah, information technology. Yep, there you go.
And it takes time. That's why I mean, like, people aren't paying you for the data. They're paying for you how to find the data if you do the white label. Because, I didn't know it was going to be there. Just by doing a few filters,
And likewise, I mean, listen, this is the idea of what you're paying us for is not only are we going to teach you how to sort of mine this stuff and get to what you need, but like Brian said, we provide you the raw materials. If you didn't have all of this, you wouldn't be able to even have a place to start. And look how fast, Brian spent a lot of time in the ecosystem, but look how fast he came up with a way to identify the people you're looking for. And that's frankly our job. Our job is to support you and make sure that when you are buying the raw materials, we're giving you the sort of coaching and guidance to really be able to kick that stuff around and try filtering it in a few different creative ways to see what works and to see how we can help you get down to get better.
One more thing. Company name. What's common? U.S. Department of Education.
Boom. I mean, yeah, this is that's
I don't know if anyone works here anymore.
Yeah, right.
But this is actually a very clear way because we can actually get rid of probably the government, not get rid of the government, but get rid of the company industry as government and go to, we can type in city of, no, company name, I'm sorry, city So now, you know what I'm saying? So you use the data to understand data. So now we just found 1,145 cities. The company name.
Oh wow, yep. I saw some CTOs. I saw some. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, still, so you know, you're finding all the chief technology officers. So let's get rid of tech, keep department CXO. Now we have 26,000 people who run a city in any department. So you have every department, community social services, human
The
services.
right data at the right time. Look at that.
You got military protective services. Yeah, I mean, this is. I never looked this up before, but yeah, there's a lot in here that you would be able to use.
We got about a little over, I guess, a little under 15 minutes left. Any other questions? Boy, this has been fantastic. The thing.
Hakeem, Jersey City Cannabis Control Board attorney.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
That's
Oh, you know what? I know who that is. All right, don't show that, but I know who that is. That's funny. So this is really exciting because I love it when we have days like this where we're really able to take something that's really unique and niche and show people how you can get all the way down to segments of your target demographic or market. And like, there's a bunch of ways for him, the US, the city of, there's a bunch of ways now you could take that whole bucket of intent data and how many data points were in that original bucket before you filtered anything when we just went to that thing.
36 million.
30. So again, like everybody's got this data, and what part of what our mission and our platform does here is it allows you to be able to flip through it nimbly and filter it and sort it and really drill down and figure out like where in this mess of hodgepodge of data and intent and activity are my actual customers or my decision makers or my potential target clients. And this is one of the things that I really just love about this platform and doing these AMAs every week, because every week we learn something new. Go ahead. I see we got a hand up and we got a question.
yeah, hey. So this is a pretty random question, but I'm wondering if you can search for like dog shelters,
Yeah.
Dog shelters,
Yeah.
animal shelters.
animal shelters, yeah, stuff
Yeah,
like
that's a straightforward one. Yeah. So I would go under business professionals. There's two ways actually. So first way would be under
First of all, I love how Brian's like, yeah, totally, that's easy, that's straightforward. But for all of us, we're like, wait a minute, this is going to be really interesting because he's about to, blow our minds a little bit. But yes, so start with the business professionals and then show us.
Well, I'm gonna actually start with business. So this is people who took COVID money, their PPP. So there's a lot of nonprofits that are in here. So what would be the dog shelter, animal shelter?
Yeah, probably
NIC.
animal shelter, animal rescue.
Yeah, right here, except veterinarian. So you don't want vets, you want like actually like a nonprofit.
Oh, right, yeah, perfect. Except veterinarians. I like that.
So when we do that, 6,832 in the country. But what I wanted to show is, well, what if you just type in animal shelter?
Don't put in shelter, just put the animal. That way you get animal rescue.
Does that mean shelter?
See, you're already learning, right? Don't put shelter, just put animal, and that way you'll get shelter and rescue. You'll get all of them. You're already learning basically how you can leverage the system to really drill down on what you're looking for.
Yeah, you just type in animal. There's basically all these are animal shelters probably when you put in shelter.
Yeah, look at them. I mean, you can look through most of the names.
Yeah, and actually that's a perfect match when you did this with the NAICS code. All right, you actually get more with the NAICS code. But the other way you could do it is how we did with business professionals before. The only thing with the business professionals, you have to look for the owner, right? It's not automatically defaulted to the owner. Whereas the business database that's on the homepage, that is automatically the owner, not a employee possibly. But
So
oh wow, we get the same
it would
amount.
kind of give
That's
you
really weird.
the number of the shelter instead of the number of the person who runs it, basically.
Yeah, so
You can get both.
yeah, so you get the
Nice.
number
Okay.
of everybody. But what I'm interested is just to see
Yeah, that was interesting. I saw that. It came up with the same number.
it was the identical number, yeah.
Yeah.
So like we did the NACS code in business professionals, and it was 6,000 something, and then usually things don't work out like that.
That's pretty
My
interesting.
hypothesis about every single one of these things taking a COVID loan is true.
Oh, this one's got a few more. The other one was 60. I think it was, yeah, okay. But yeah.
These are all unique business names too.
Yeah.
So kennel, pause within, skip.
So scroll over and show him, where we can find a little more information on any of these.
Yeah, so we can see the officers, directors.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can drill down to sort of figure out again, who's the operator, who's the decision maker. And I think one of the really great things about it is you can search multiple ways, right? And so like that combined with, I don't know what else, I don't know what you do with the animal shelters, but sort of that combined with other filters and other intent searches can really help you drill down your real target demographic. But there's a lot there already. That's pretty amazing.
All right, cool. Thank you. That's really helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah, listen, we're please book a demo in the chat with Kush, and if you need a custom plan, certainly don't hesitate to reach out. You can always hit up Kush and just tell him you want to discuss, a enterprise plan, or you want to discuss the API stuff, and we'll get into that. I think next week we'll have something a little more formal on the directories that we'll be able to talk about. And that should be good. And as we wind this down, I think Michael's got one more question. Go for it, Michael.
Is it possible to get you guys to just do like do a list for and need that list? Like if I didn't want to buy the whole platform or whatever, could you guys do a la carte sort of list? You guys do that?
Yeah,
You hear that, Brian? I couldn't really make that
Yeah,
out.
so there's a list of people looking to sell their car. There's a list of people looking to buy a car.
Oh yeah.
All of that does exist.
Okay, so you guys can't do that. Okay, cool.
Yep. All right, we had potentially one more question. No. Yep. Go for it. Hi, you had a question? I guess not. All right, I guess we're gonna start winding this down. Listen, I want to. I cannot stress this enough, man. I want to thank everybody for participating in these. Yes, there's certainly going to be recordings, clips, the whole deal. We'll get it out there to you guys. Every time that you guys, participate and ask us questions, and Brian's able to show and answer some of these questions, believe me, it helps more than just you. If you have the question, there's probably 1,000 other people that have a similar question, or they can take the answer and apply it to their industry or their concern. So I want to say thank you, everybody who participates, because it's really important for us to continue to monitor how we can improve the ecosystem and how we can make everything work better, or how we can give you the right information that empowers you to be able to drill down the data like Brian did today, in a very timely manner where you're not constantly feeling like you're overwhelmed or need help. And so this is our job. This is our role here, and we really, really appreciate everybody's participation. I see William has a question. You want to jump in and bring us home with the last question?
Hey guys, yeah, this is just kind of a general question to be able to tell businesses and stuff. When you're pulling up the data from the business data, okay, along those, how many data points, or what's a good number to say I'm marketing to someone who needs a certain type of business in an area, and I say, hey, we're going to go ahead and search this, and there's going to be over 100 different data points between, who's the owner, who's this, and all these. What type of information can I tell businesses that are looking at this that they're going to be able to get when they're searching for business? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there we get all these fields. This is all the fields. There's about 80 of them. So all of this is included.
Yeah, I mean, it is, social connections, age, do they have children, what's their gender, homeowner, married, approximate net worth, approximate income range.
Okay.
Oftentimes you can get a SHA-256, which is brilliant for custom audiences. All kinds of email and phone number information. What particular information are they looking for?
Yeah, so I was looking for the numbers. So when I'm telling them, hey, look, we have 80 different content or 80 different data references that you could get, depending on what we're able to pull.
Right.
Okay, that's what I needed, guys.
Perfect.
Always a good time. Always a good time.
Thank you.
Do we have a
William.
link on how to create the SHA-256 into a custom audience?
It's a little different in each ecosystem, and I believe that Google has just made Meta has just made some more changes to it. So I will I don't know if there's a standard way to do it right now. Let me check in with my people who are using it to do that and see what changes they've had to make, and I'll share the format that they're using.
I don't have anybody that's able to figure it out.
There's like a template. They sent me a template that I've used in the past that I just want to make sure it hasn't changed, and then I'll share it with you, Tim.
Are they using Google, Tim, or are they using Facebook? Because Google's a lot easier to get it uploaded to.
Yeah, but in the Meta one, it's not that hard. It wasn't that hard. It's literally just the way that It's just the order in which the columns are formatted. The headers have to be exactly their format. And then, yeah, I'll reach out right now. Before the end of the day today, I will share whatever formatted spreadsheet that they've been using to upload the custom audience in the white label chat. So everybody can have it. And